Let me tell you something real. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You waiting for that magic moment, that perfect opportunity, that one phone call that's gonna change everything. Man, stop it. You waiting on a miracle and God's been waiting on you. Yeah, I said it. God already gave you everything you need. You're just too busy looking outside yourself to see it. See, some folks spend their whole life standing at the bus stop for a ride that ain't never coming. They talking about, when is somebody gonna give me a shot? When is my big break coming? Let me break it to you. Your big break is looking you in the mirror every morning. You the help you've been praying for. You the breakthrough. You the plan. But you too scared to start, so you keep hoping somebody else gonna do it for you. Let me tell you my story real quick. I didn't have nothing. I was homeless, slept in my car for 3 years, had every reason to quit, every reason to fold. But guess what? I stopped waiting on somebody to come rescue me. I realized that if I wanted to eat, I had to get in the kitchen. If I wanted a stage, I had to build it. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all sitting in the middle of a storm, and instead of swimming to the shore, you sitting there crying, waiting for a boat that ain't even been built yet. Ain't nobody gonna come into your life, knock on your door, and say, hey, I see you struggling. Let me fix everything. Nah, that's not how life works. You want your life to change? You gotta move. You gotta act. You gotta grind like your next meal depends on it. 'Cause sometimes it does. Too many people blame everybody but themselves. Oh, my parents didn't do this. My boss don't like me. They never gave me a shot. Let me tell you something. You can blame everybody else, or you can take responsibility and get to work. 'Cause once you realize that the only thing standing between you and your next level is you, that's when the game changes. You don't need permission to chase your dream. You don't need applause to get started. Some of y'all waiting on support, waiting on validation, but you don't need none of that. What you need is discipline. What you need is drive. What you need is to stop waiting and start doing. People love to say God helps those who help themselves, and that's true. But you gotta give him something to work with. If you ain't moving, how he gonna guide you? You sitting still talking about direction. Baby, a parked car can't be steered. Listen to me. It don't matter where you started. It don't matter who left you. It don't matter how long you've been down. You still got breath in your lungs. You still got a chance. You still got time. But you gotta move. You gotta make up your mind that nobody owes you nothing. And everything you want, you gonna have to go get. So today, not tomorrow. Today, stop waiting. Get up, get out, and go fix your life, because nobody's coming to save you. But the good news, you were built to save yourself. Let me break it down for you plain and simple. Faith without action is dead. That's not just a cute little Bible verse to hang on your wall. That's real talk. See, a lot of people out here got big dreams. They got faith. Oh yeah, they can pray all day long. They say God's gonna do it. And I believe in God. I believe in miracles. But let me tell you something. God didn't bring you this far to just have you sit on your behind, waiting for something to fall in your lap. Faith don't work like that. You can't just wish and wait. You gotta work while you wait. You gotta move in faith. You gotta act like it's already on the way. Now listen, you can say all the right prayers. You can fast cry. Go to church every Sunday. But if you ain't getting up on Monday morning and putting your hands to the plow, you just fooling yourself. Faith is motion. Faith is energy. Faith is you showing up even when you're tired, broke, scared, and unsure. Because you believe something better is coming. It's not about how loud you pray. It's about how hard you push. You hear me? Some folks use faith like it's a lottery ticket. They think if they pray hard enough, God's just gonna magically drop success in their lap. But let me tell you what faith really looks like. Faith looks like discipline. Faith looks like sacrifice. Faith looks like you getting up at 5 a.m. to write that book, to start that business, to apply for that job, to work on your body, to build that future. Faith is grinding in silence when nobody's watching, because you believe God's still watching. And don't get me wrong, I know what it's like to pray and still feel stuck. I know what it's like to say, God, when is it going to be my turn? But what I learned is this: God don't respond to begging. He responds to movement. He responds to effort. You gotta show him that you trust him enough to walk even when the path ain't clear. You gotta take steps, even if they shaky, even if they small. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You move in faith and let God meet you on the road. You know what separates dreamers from doers? Action. See, dreamers talk about it. Doers be about it. You gotta stop talking about what you believe and start living like you believe it. Because if your faith don't push you to action, it's not faith. It's just fantasy. It's a feel-good thought with no muscle behind it. And life don't reward fantasy. Life rewards faith in motion. So what's it gonna be? You gonna keep wishing? Or you gonna start working? Are you gonna keep saying one day? Or are you gonna make today the day? You already got the dream. You already got the idea. Now it's time to back it up with action. Stop waiting for confirmation. Your desire is your confirmation. God already put it in you. Now he's just waiting on you to move. Because in the end, your faith don't work unless you do. Let's stop dancing around it. Excuses don't pay bills. I don't care how good your reason sounds, how much pain you've been through, how unfair life has been. None of that changes the fact that at the end of the month, your landlord don't want to hear about your childhood trauma. Your boss don't want to hear about your bad day. And success sure ain't listening to no sob story. Life is not gonna stop because you hurt. Life is not gonna slow down because you're tired. And life sure ain't gonna make room for your excuses. You know what excuses really are? They're lies dressed up in reasons. Yeah, I said it. Lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. Lies you tell yourself to avoid the work. I don't have time. Lie. You got time to scroll for 3 hours, but not 30 minutes to invest in your future. I'm too old. Lie. You ain't too old to dream, to build, to start over. Colonel Sanders started KFC in his 60s. You just scared. Nobody supports me. Lie. You don't need a crowd. You need commitment. And that comes from you. Every excuse you tell yourself is just fear wearing a disguise. And the longer you believe those lies, the longer you stay stuck. I've been there. I've made excuses. I've blamed everybody and everything. My situation, my past, my surroundings. But let me tell you something. Not one of those excuses ever paid a light bill. Not one of them put food on the table. Not one of them got me closer to the life I wanted. Excuses didn't feed me when I was broke. Excuses didn't clothe my kids. Excuses didn't get me on TV. Work did. Faith did. Focus did. You gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself. Life don't owe you sympathy. It owes you opportunity. And guess what? Opportunity comes dressed in overalls, talking about let's go to work. Some of y'all out here waiting on the right conditions, the perfect moment, the right mood, the ideal setup. Let me tell you what successful people know. If you wait for perfect, you'll be waiting forever. You either want the result or you want the excuse, but you can't have both. People ask me all the time, Steve, what was your turning point? I tell them straight up, the day I stopped making excuses, the day I stopped pointing fingers. The day I looked in the mirror and said, you got you into this mess and you're gonna have to get you out. That's when my life started to shift. Not when I got a lucky break. Not when someone gave me a shot. It was when I held myself accountable. That's power. That's freedom. Look, I know life hits hard. I know it's not fair. I know you're tired. But the rent's still due. Your dream's still waiting. And the only way out is through. You can sit there and explain to everybody why it ain't happening, or you can stand up and start making it happen. Because the truth is, nobody cares about your excuse. So you're either gonna make moves or you're gonna make excuses. But remember, one pays off, the other just keeps you broke. Your environment doesn't define your outcome. Where you started does not decide where you're allowed to go. Let me say that again. For the folks in the back, the neighborhood you came from, the family you were born into, the money you didn't have, the school you didn't go to. None of that has the final say on your future. You do. The problem is, too many people are letting their surroundings tell them who they are instead of deciding who they're gonna be. They're letting their zip code become a life sentence. And I'm here to tell you, that's a lie straight from the pit. I came from Welch, West Virginia. Didn't have much. Grew up in the hood, struggled just like a lot of people do, but I never once believed that just because I was in a tough place, I had to stay in a tough place. See, I looked around and I said, this might be where I'm at, but this ain't where I'm staying. And that mindset, that fire in my belly, it made me move. It made me fight. It made me see something bigger than what was in front of me. You gotta understand, your environment is just a stage. It's not the script. It might shape your early scenes, but it doesn't control your ending. You ever seen flowers grow through concrete? That's what you are. A seed planted in tough soil, still finding a way to rise. So stop telling yourself you're stuck because of where you live, or because your family never made it, or because you didn't get a head start. Everybody don't get a clean shot, but everybody can take the shot they got. I know people who grew up with everything and still blew it. Well, I also know people who came from dirt floors, no electricity, no hope, and now they run multi-million-dollar companies. So tell me, what's the difference? Mindset, hunger, discipline, vision. See, it ain't about the cards you were dealt, it's how you play the hand. Some of y'all got a busted hand, but instead of playing it smart, you fold too early. You tell yourself you can't win. You sit there and complain while somebody else with even less turns their struggle into a story of success. Let me be real. Your environment will test you. It'll try to break you. It'll whisper in your ear, you'll never make it out. But that's just noise. You gotta learn to hear a greater voice, the one inside you that says, keep going. You were built for more. God didn't put you in that place to punish you. He put you there to grow you, to stretch you, to teach you what grind really means, what faith really feels like, what it really takes to make it. And once you make it out, don't forget where you came from. But don't let it hold you hostage either. Just because your daddy quit, just because your mama never dreamed, just because your friends stayed stuck, that don't mean you have to. You have a right to want more. You have a right to dream bigger, and you have the power to make it real. Your environment might explain your struggle, but it doesn't excuse you from the work. So stop waiting for conditions to change and start changing in the middle of the condition. Because where you came from is just the beginning. It's not the whole story. God gives everybody a gift. It's your job to develop it. Every single one of us was born with something special. I don't care who you are, where you come from, how much money you got, or how much schooling you've had. God didn't put you on this earth empty-handed. You weren't born to just exist, pay bills, and die. You were born with purpose. You were born with something. A talent, a skill, a spark, a unique flavor that nobody else on this planet got. But here's the problem. Too many people take that gift and let it sit on the shelf. They don't open it. They don't sharpen it. They don't respect it. They spend their whole life ignoring the very thing that could set them free. See, people think your gift gotta be big and flashy. They think it's gotta be singing or dancing or making millions. But your gift might be your voice. It might be your ability to listen. It might be how you make people laugh, how you write, how you organize, how you love on others. Your gift is whatever comes naturally to you, but blesses others when you use it. That thing you can do without trying, that's your gift. That's your divine assignment. But you gotta stop waiting on the world to give you permission to use it. Now here's where the work comes in. A gift is only the beginning. God might hand you the seed, but you gotta plant it. You gotta water it. You gotta grow it. You gotta work it. That's the part most folks don't want to hear. They think because they're talented, everything should just fall in place. Nah, talent will get you in the room, but work ethic keeps you there. Raw gifts are like gold in the dirt. If you don't dig, refine, polish, and shine it, nobody will ever see its value. I used to tell jokes at the table when I was a kid. Could make anybody laugh. That was my gift. I didn't know I could make a living out of it. Didn't know that one day that same gift would put me on stages, TV screens, and in rooms I never dreamed I'd walk into. But let me tell you, the jokes didn't get me there alone. It was the grind, the late nights, the setbacks, the rejection. But I kept showing up. I kept sharpening that gift because I knew it was mine. And if God gave it to me, He expected me to do something with it. Some of y'all are sitting on your gift like it's a backup plan. You've convinced yourself it's too late or too risky or not good enough. But let me tell you something. The graveyard is full of unused gifts, full of people who could've, would've, should've. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your fear be louder than your calling. You got something inside you that the world needs. Don't rob us of it. Don't rob yourself of it. Don't rob yourself of it. Stop comparing your gift to everybody else's. Yours wasn't meant to look like theirs. It was meant to reflect your journey, your story, your fingerprint. God didn't make copies. He made originals. You're one of them. So take what you've been given and get to work. Because your gift might be God's answer to somebody else's prayer. But it's your job to unwrap it, build it, and share it with the world. Start with what you have, where you are. Too many people waste their whole life waiting to have more before they begin. I'll start the business when I have more money. I'll chase my dream when I have more time. I'll work on myself when things calm. Listen to me. If you keep waiting for more, you're gonna look up one day and realize life passed you by while you were waiting on the perfect conditions that never came. The truth is, you already have everything you need to take the first step. It may not be everything you want, but it's enough to get started. You keep looking around at what you don't have, and that's exactly what's keeping you stuck. Comparison is killing your confidence. You're too focused on who's ahead of you, what equipment they got, who's supporting them, what kind of lifestyle they live in, and you overlook the tools God already put in your hands. You overlook the favor that's already on your life. The real question isn't, what don't you have? It's what are you doing with what you do have? You think I started with everything I needed? Man, please. When I started telling jokes, I didn't have no manager, no team, no connections. I had 5 minutes of material and a whole lot of faith. That's it. But I used it. I showed up. I bombed. I got booed, but I kept getting back on stage because that's what starting looks like. It's messy, it's scary, it's lonely, but it's necessary. Everybody wants to shine, but don't nobody want to sweat. Everybody wants to arrive, but don't nobody want to start. You gotta learn to work with what's in your hands. You got a phone, you got a laptop, you got an internet connection, you got 2 feet and a voice, then you got enough. Stop telling yourself you need a fancy office or $1 million idea before you move. You need hustle. You need courage. You need courage. You need consistency. Success don't start with more. It starts with movement, and movement begins wherever you are, with whatever you've. Some of the greatest inventions, greatest businesses, greatest songs, greatest books, they all started in somebody's basement, somebody's notebook, somebody's small town living room. Don't you ever underestimate the power of a small beginning. Don't you ever talk yourself out of starting just because it doesn't look impressive right now. You plant the seed, God grows the tree. But He won't water what you don't plant. Every day you put it off. Every day you say not yet. You're delaying the version of you that you were born to become. You think you're waiting on life, but life's been waiting on you. You gotta stop praying for harvest if you're not willing to plant. Stop asking God to bless steps you're not even taking. If you want the next level, show Him you can be faithful with the level you're at right now. It don't matter how small your start looks. It only matters that you start. Your dream ain't gonna build itself. Your future ain't gonna fall from the sky. You're not behind. You just need to begin. So stop waiting for more. Stop waiting for perfect. Stop waiting for a sign. Start with what you have right where you are and watch God do the rest.